colleagues, you're welcome. We continue our work in UCMC. We are going to talk on topic opening of the Center of Theater with the basis of and managed public premises. We are going to have the speaker Oleksandra Bilera, expert of the Reanimation Reform Package, Working Group Culture, Pavlo Bryhynets, member of the Kyiv City Council. Oleksandr Malyarevych, member of the Kyiv City Council, Nadia Mіroshnychenko, representative of the Association of Independent Theater Association Actors, Oleksandr Mіroshnychenko, same association, and Valeriy Nevedrov, also representative of the Association of Independent Theater Actors. My name is Oleksandra Bilera. I am expert of RPR, Reanimation Reform Package. Shortly speaking about our dream, about our idea, this is a theater center of the European model. For the first time we proposed this kind of reform in Kyiv. We've been working on that for about 1 month, and then we started its implementation. In order to implement this reform, today we already have the 9th month of our efforts. Unfortunately, I have to say that our system of the communist model is not really can't live any further. But we are going to talk about different. Our center is based in Mіroshnychenko on Nabережной 12 in the former movie theater Krakow. It was dilapidated for some time or abandoned, and we proposed this scheme of the theater center of the European model. We have to separate the artistic composition that and the management director. This is very short description. This system is absolutely self-financing. Today we do not have the sponsors. We have the people who agreed to help us. Oleksandr from the British Council recently had a presentation entitled Innovations, and the program which he is going to launch next year. He was kind to provide us, or they agreed to provide us with the technical equipment. So we do hope that we are going to have cooperation with him further on in the development of our relationship. Should any one of you should question, because we are going to distribute the handouts, we could take those questions. Now I turn the mic to Nadia Mіroshnychenko, and deal with the reforms of independent theaters. The matter is that in global experience or in global practice, the independent theaters take the majority. Among other things, there are, for example, in one country there are 3 public theaters, a dozen of municipal, and a lot of others where the theatrical troops or groups work. We didn't have a single one here. In general speaking, the Ukrainian system is still a Soviet one and doesn't need any requirements of the global processes or the modern Ukrainian socialism, and without the support, non-independent theater could survive. In Kyiv, actually, we had about 50 theaters of this kind. In Germany, independent theaters are not really independent theaters. There are different types of support. For example, some kind of the easy terms or the privileged, let's say, privileged leasing or rent, and the preference is different. We were talking about those centers, and then we have to discriminate the centers as the premises and theaters as the premises, or theaters the companies. So what is the advantage of such a system? It's more versatile. First of all, if there are different theaters in place with different direction, and they have more opportunities, more alternatives, and we can talk about different trends and different interests. Number 2, it's more economically efficient system. We do not need the budget to pay out salaries, but if we have some kind of the privileged rent or maybe administrative portion of that which requires money, but this allows to keep up the premises in a good shape and pay for the communal services, etc. As a rule, the independent theaters, we are talking about the more use, more innovations. Those are the competitive environment, let's say, and we plan to involve such centers to take care of different international projects and the benevolent actions or activities. It could be that just some of these studios, training studios. So this could be kind of comprehensive center with different directions of activities, and this is going to put a new life, let's say, or breathe in some activity and to enlarge or to extend this practice not only in Kyiv but in other cities of Ukraine as well, because this is something which is mostly required by, if you're talking about the theatrical reform, some more space and the possibility for the independent theaters to exist. Another point, another piece of news: there was a presentation and approval of the idea of this creating this center during the a meeting of the Minister of Culture and let's say the Administration of Culture. Actually, all the in the Ministry of Culture, there are no budgetary offices. We all are the citizens of Kyiv. We are citizens of Ukraine. We have to have the equal rights, all at once. You are talking about the cultural policy. Let it be not the, let's say, budgetary financing, but we have equal rights if we're talking about leasing or renting. This is very important for the to understand this slogan. Let them not help us, but at least do not come in the way of what we are doing. So I would like to give the floor to Oleksandr Mіroshnychenko, who provides you more details about the structure and the essence of the center. Good afternoon. There are several major myths about culture and theatrical culture, generally speaking. The first myth is as follows. Theater, it was written in the formal documents. This is a scheduled, let's say, deprived of income entity. They cannot make money. They have to be fed all the time and they have to be directed. This is not true. If this was the case, maybe in the Paris they did not have, they would have 500 and London more than 600, you know. We are talking about creating the opportunity for implementing this idea. We do not have to provide fish, but they have to provide the fishing rod and teach the people how to catch the fish, how to fish, generally speaking. If we're talking about the old generation of theatricals who do not understand what it's all about. On the one hand, on the other hand, the new formation of the clerks who they do not understand what to do with that either. But how can we develop the theatrical space of Ukraine? Because if you're talking about theatrical center in our understanding, in the global understanding, and the Ukrainian understanding among those as well, because until the 1917 in Kyiv and Khrushchev, we had 60 theaters, big and small, some basements occupied, but the process was there, but the Soviet power put the end to that, then they said that all the theaters have to be state-run, and we are not going to let's say, to invent the bicycle or the wheel. The theater center, this is a center where could be used for the implementation of absolutely different projects of absolutely different theaters, which are not regulated by some budgetary specificities, you know, which are not controlled from the top as it is the case now. There is a national theater, there is some budget, and there is the salary payment fund, and the like in the Soviet times, the state offers total, let's say, financing for the total control in exchange. But all those are not really, they're not life. They're not vital. We are not talking about the theater center as a center, but as the beginning of the whole system of the network of different theaters. You can go to Kyiv and see a lot of different advertisement, leasing or rent, etc. This is actually the municipal ownership. It's yours and ours property. So I'm not talking about providing 60 theaters in Kyiv, but maybe 20. But the theaters in the like those theater centers with all, when the different theatrical groups could replace one another or change all the time, so that they should not be mummified or let's say, because this is really important, because in fact the theater is gradually being turned into museums. There are some better manifestations of that, but 3 more seconds. For such a city as Kyiv, the number of the theaters is absolutely not sufficient. It's very small. It's catastrophically small, disastrously small, because in Europe, the world over, the number is much bigger. The quality and the quantity turns into quality. According to statistics, non-state run are 50, but nobody counts them because there is no legislation. We have 18 national theaters, but this is not enough at all. 18 theaters, while 500 in Paris. 15 theaters would be enough for, let's say, for such district center like Bryhynets. In Italy, they would have 18 theaters. In Kyiv, it should add a couple of zeros, at least one. Really, I'm happy that we have made some progress. So after 9 months of our work, and we actually gave, we are in the process of labor, so to say, in the process of giving birth to this child, and we are blessed, and this child will be healthy and smart. The last one, and we hope that the Association Independent Actors, which was born in parallel to that, so we would like to have a lot of children, with family with many children. Thank you. I would like to echo, there are a lot of class who do not understand the importance of development of such centers, but there are some of the guys like Oles Malyarevych and Pavlo Bryhynets, who really understand that our country is going through the Euro integration. We have to change. We have to develop first develop culture. Because culture is the blossom of the nation. If we raise the culture, the nation will raise what they need. So special thanks go to them. They do a lot for that. And then to crown it all, Valeriy Nevedrov as one of the head of the theater, Pavlo Bryhynets, secretary of Committee of Culture in the Kyiv City Council. I would say that we support that, but we are not clerks, we are deputies. And this is very symbolic that during the 9 months of this effort, we have something, thanks God. Nobody said that everything would be easy, because this is kind of natural selection. There are some good ideas, but there are no bearers of those ideas. That's why they are not cannot be translated into life. We had a genius creative initiative group. Understand or not understand how to act for their own. We were together on creating the algorithm of that, but they are full of energy, those people. That's why I believe. You were talking about the pilot project which has been formed today.
I would say in the following terms, I am the chief of the working group which addressed the problematic issues and the issue of theaters as well. So this matter came to me, to my working group, and we considered it, and we managed to involve all departments of Kyiv administration to addressing this issue, so we can achieve some natural development of the society and bureaucratic machine who will be on the side not of virtual cities community, but the city broken down by each member, each citizen. Thanks God we had such young, enthusiastic people like Sasha. This is those people who push theatrical movement, and we need to give support to the theaters. This is like our contribution to our retirement fund, so that we have something remaining when we go out of the scene. And I also would like to say that there was such a command that not all theaters are profit-making. They can be profit-making in some circumstances, but they can be loss-making when the rent pays are very high. Therefore, of course, the city should do all the possible efforts so that the rent pays are not high and the theaters are profit-making. I am an MP, I am a representative of Rusanovka district in the city council. We have implemented in Rusanovka the best IT school, secondary school, jointly with the Jewish Society, and also we have launched the sports school. And during all those years, I thought what would be with the former Krakow cinema premises. Nobody was interested with the developments around the building of this cinema. The idea emerged 9 months ago. We decided to clean the Krakow premises, so 19 lorries of garbage were removed. Then they asked for some construction materials, and I asked, what are you doing here? They said, we are building this theater. And I said, okay, I would support you in this, your good idea. Dear guys, you can believe that I will proceed to support you, and our theater in Rusanovka will be one of the best. Good afternoon. I appreciate very much that I can speak here after the speakers who said so many good things. I would say the truth. If the bureaucrats hadn't interfered with our activities, the bureaucrats killed our theater. All of them are guilty in the problems in the theater, because the theater, of course, should survive itself, but the Department of Culture should support theaters. So when the deputies with the municipal administration returned, and the idea of creating the European Center of Theatre emerged, we can also speak about the rent pace for these premises. We accepted this idea, and we entered these premises, and we just asked Oles to give us trucks, to give us construction materials, but the works were made by us themselves. No workers were hired by the city. We are taking everything, all theatrical machinery, equipment was brought by us themselves from our own collections. This would be the good premises for leisure, for spending leisure time for our Kyivites. So I invite everyone to see how we work. We will work tomorrow on Saturday at 10 o'clock, and you will see how all our actors work as the construction workers in order to restore the center of theater for you, the Kyivites. I would like to mention that this new center of theater, one more accent, the center is now restored as an organization, as premises. This is the group of known theaters, known not only in Ukraine but abroad as well, who have their repertoire. But they just want to have some premises to work in, and the range of theaters which will be in this group of theaters, the range will extend more and more. And for you to understand, I think that late in October we would be able to invite you not only to take part in our Saturday's works, reconstruction works, but we would be able to invite you to watch our performance. So the theater of theater is very important. The Rusanovka district is very huge, and there are many problems how to have performances for children, performances for adults, and we hope that starting with October we will become a component of Rusanovka culture. Thanks. Maybe the time for questions come.
What I forgot to say that we are going to support the volunteer movement for the orphans, orphan children, for our military guys. We are going to stage special performances, and we are going to do that, having to do everything. As we say, we have to provide communication. We have a big separation line between us, unfortunately, but we are going to change that. Your questions, please. Are there any questions in the audience? So please raise your hands, and please introduce yourselves. I have a good afternoon. I would like to have some clarification. Since they invited me here, and I would like to inform you that self-organization of population of micro-Rusanovka city of Kyiv, was involved in cooperation with the municipal theater in Kyiv. In the beginning of September, a certain letter to support this initiative was sent to the chairman of the city mayor, and we, the residents of Rusanovka district, we are going to work in order to develop this theater initiative. I wish very much that we had some kind of opportunity for the cinema option. So my question is, will there be any chance for kind of cinema-related options? Because some time ago they actually destroyed the screen for showing movies. So there is any chance to do something about that. Yes, we have a very famous person, Vasil Viter. He is the head of the cinema department in the Theatrical Institute of Karpenko-Kary, and this is a kind of theater cinematography association of young directors, young actors, and we mentioned that we want our center to be not only the theater focused one, but a multi artistic one. So we are now in the going through negotiations and discussions. I believe that 9 months more, and we are going to give birth to the cinema theater. Well, the stage remains in place, but we are going to have a kind of movable screen which can be lifted. Another question from the UCMC. We know that this is a pilot project. As far as I can understand, that in Rusanovka are going to plan further on to restore to theaters in Kyiv. More than that, perhaps this is our dream. We mentioned that slightly. There is a number of the abandoned cinemas, libraries in different districts of Kyiv. They do not function. They are sometimes the places for some kind of fairs or exhibitions, but a lot of such kind of tracks. And of course, we would like the local authorities to give us a hand. Of course, we can't go there and start working, but then some owner one day come and say, sorry, get out of here, we're going to create here some kind of creation center. Well, actually, we try to provide some kind of register of different premises of the clubs, departmental, the district ones, or some rooms which could be turned potential in some kind of the theatrical audiences. There are quite a lot of such premises and rooms, and in any Western city, the theaters are scattered all over the city, and only in Kyiv we have the situation when everything is concentrated in downtown Kyiv, and only one drama and comedy theater is on the left bank, and the Muppet theater as well. But for that we need some kind of municipal program, and we acquainted ourselves with one of our programs in Odessa, and this is superb, They schedule a number of different things to provide the premises, to create the multimedia centers, in some kind of social advertisement, and the common media center which will take care of different public and non-governmental functions. But we do have our own will, but also have the will of the municipal authorities. I would like to add that the majority of the rooms and the spaces which are vacant today, they have some negative history. Or either they belong to somebody, or it was associated with some lengthy rent period. Of course, we have to look and find such premises. Maybe the community can come up with an initiative and say that they are even the territory they occupy, they would like to have some kind of such centers. Because today we have only a few sites in Kyiv where young theaters can realistically work. In those, I'm talking about those buildings or premises which are not museums or clubs. We are talking about the House of Actors. There are several theaters use this building for their work, but there are some also problematic outstanding issues. But I believe everything will be resolved. But in the process of resolving those problems, we have to take care of reforming the system of culture management in principle. I believe at the level of Ukraine and at the level, generally speaking, of the country and national level and the Kyiv city level, because there are quite a few bureaucratic things which actually provoke to the extent that what I'm talking about, a lot of the different things could be speeded up as compared to what we have today. There are some of the deputies who are still working, the next deputies who will come to in their places. We do hope that they will try to resolve this issue provided we have the initiatives on the part of the Kyiv citizens. It would be easier to implement, because history proves that, the modern history, that it's better to hear the citizens than not to try and hear them, because this could be fraught with some very negative things. That's why I would say we are doomed to success. Also, we are talking about such an aspect that those circle centers, they are not theaters. They can create this tourist attractiveness for the city. We did not talk about this, but actually today, the availability of the theater centers and then let's say in the lot of different festivals and cultural products in a big number, like this is the case in Berlin or London or Paris. This can add to the attractiveness of the city for tourists, and which will increase the budget of the city. Unfortunately, we do not have anything like that today, almost do not have. While in Vienna, when you come to Vienna, there is let's say the advertisement, or let's say the all the theaters in Vienna, about 400. But this is taken care of by the municipality, and they actually understand that their theaters are another attraction for the tourists in their city. I would like to see something like that in Kyiv as well. I'm sorry, we have time only for a very short comment. Just 1 minute. A very short question. Due to the fact that the idea is very good, but this requires some kind of being streamlined. I mean, not the idea is streamlined, but those places we should plan to use, we have to take care of those. Not only the building they are going to use as the theater center, but the adjacent territory. Actually, we already took some care about that. They're laying the asphalt, they're going to install street lights, everything is going to be okay. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Please come to us. Keep up your interests. We are with you, you are with